everyone, for today's video, we are going to talk about the history, background, and nature of table tennis. Table tennis is relatively new sport. It was first conceived by a British officer in 1881. Changes started in 1900 when celluloid ball was used and name changed to ping pong due to sounds of the ball. In 1901, the game was also known as Whiff Waff, Flim Flam, and Gazima. The game was lost its popularity in 1904 because the cost of the racket and the ball went high. When it regained its popularity in 1922, different national associations were formed in 1926, one of which was the International Table Tennis Federation, or ITTF, which was established in Berlin.
In the latter part of the year 2000, the international body governing the rules of table tennis introduced more changes. They decided to increase the size of the plastic ball used in tournament from 38mm to 40mm. This was an attempt to slow the game down a little. Since 1988, table tennis has been on Olympic sport with several event categories, in particular from 1988 until 2004. These were men's single, women's single, men's double, and women's double. During 2008, a team event has been played instead of the double. And lastly, in 2007, the governance for the table tennis for persons with disability was transferred from the International Paralympics Committee to the ITTF.
So now let's talk about the materials and equipment needed to table tennis. So there are only three that you needed. First is the table, second the ball, and the third is the paddle. So that is the materials needed in the table tennis.
So equipment of table tennis. The table should be rectangular, 9 by 5 feet, 2.7 by 1.5 meters. Its upper surface a level plane 30 inches, 76 centimeters above the floor. The net is 6 feet, 1.8 meters long, and its upper edge along the whole length is 6 inches or 15.25 centimeters above the playing surface. So the ball is a table tennis ball must have a diameter of 40 millimeters and weight of 2.7 grams. Table tennis balls are made out of unique plastic-like material called celluloid. So the air is trapped inside the ball, which allows it to bounce after striking a paddle or table. The lightweight ball can be struck with different types of rubbers in action, which drew in different spin rates. The faster the spin rate, the more curve you will see from the ball upon striking the receiving player's half of the table. So now let's proceed to the paddle. The paddle used in table tennis are used to strike the ball into the opponent half of the table. Paddles come in many different variations that favors players' specific skills and techniques. Paddle must be made of at least 85% wood, but can also include some carbon fiber in its design. On both sides of the paddle, you will notice a rubber surface that comes into contact with the ball. These are called rubbers and include different rubbers patterns that impact the amount of friction applied to the ball. Sometimes the rubber surface has raised pieces of rubber known as pips. These pips can vary in length, with longer pips allowing for the spin of the ball, while shorter pips tend to add more spin.
Table tennis, or also known as ping pong and whiff waff. It is a sport in which 2 or 4 players can able to play. It played on a flat table divided into 2 equal courts by a net fixed across its width and the middle. The object is to hit the ball so that it goes over the net and bounces on the opponent's half table in such a way that the opponent cannot reach to return it correctly. The ping pong ball is propelled back and forth across the net by small rackets or bats or paddles held by the player. The game is popular all over the world. Most countries, ping pong is very highly recognized as a competitive sport, especially in Europe and Asia.
Rules and regulation in playing table tennis. Number 1. Games are played to 11 points. A game is played to 11 points. A game must be won by 2 points. A match is generally the best 3 of 5 games. The first one can score 3 lead will be the winner of the game. Number 2. Alternate serves every 2 points. Each side of the table alternates serving 2 points at a time, but we have an exemption on it. After tied, wherein the score is both player is 10 or what we call the dos, service alternates at every point. Here is the question right now. Can you lose on a serve in ping pong? The answer is yes. There is no secret rule for serving on game point. Number 3. Toss the ball straight up when serving. How do you serve the ball in ping pong? Hold the ball in your open palm behind your end of the table. Toss at least 6 straight up and strike it on the way down. It must hit your side of the table and then the other side. Please take note, once the ball leaves the server's hand, it is in play, and so count as the receiver's point if the ball is missed or mishit. Number 4. The serve can land anywhere in singles. There is no restriction on where the ball lands on your side or your opponent's side of the table. It can bounce 2 or more times on your opponent's side. If so, that's your point. Bounce over the side or even hit the edge. Number 5. A serve that touches the net on the way over is a let. Can the ball hit the net in ping pong? Yes, during a rally, if it touches the top of the net and then otherwise lands at a legitimate hit, but not when serving. If a served ball hits the net on the other way over and otherwise legally bounces in play, it's a lead serve and is done over. There is no limit on how many times this can happen. Number 6. Alternate hitting in a doubles rally. Doubles partners must alternate hitting balls in a rally, no matter where the ball lands on the table. 7. Volleys are not allowed. Can you hit the ball before it bounces in ping pong? The answer is no. In regular tennis, you may volley the ball. Volley means hitting the ball before it bounces on your side of the net. But in table tennis, this result is in a point for opponent. Reminder, when your opponent hits a ball that sails over your end of the table without touching it and then hits you on your paddle, that is still your point. Number 8. If your hit bounces back over the net by itself, it is your point. If you hit the ball in a rally or on a serve and it bounces back over the net after hitting your opponent's side of the table due to extreme spin without your opponent touching it, that is be counted as your pointed. And each ball bouncing of the horizontal tabletop surface is good. And otherwise, legal serve or hit may contact the top edge of the horizontal tabletop surface and be counted as valid, even if it is bounces sidewise. The vertical sides of the table are not part of the legal playing surface. And lastly, honor system applies to this agreement. If no referee is present during a match and the players disagree on a certain call, the honor system applies and the players should find a way to agree or play the point over. Ping pong carries a tradition of first but fair play. Help us keep it that way.